definitely want to look out for if it breaks down and gives a retest of this level and does something like this, you know? Especially with BTC failing to reclaim 120. But that's just something I noticed in short. As for BTC, let me also record. BTC with a pretty nasty rejection yesterday. Very ugly close. Tried to flip 120 today, but didn't quite get there and rejected before it. And now we are heading back into this 117K zone, which should be a very big support on the daily. So maybe we just chop around here on the weekend and don't really break down. But as it stands right now, there's not a lot of buying pressure. A lot of the move up was shorts closing and then spot failing to push price higher, which has resulted in this dog shit PA. But now what I still want to see is, which I said at the start of the week, is a sweep of 116, 500. And there we could potentially look for the longs into next week. If we don't show any strength next week, then it's probably going to be a very choppy August. And ideally we get like that final leg, which I've been talking about during September. Because as it stands, this daily BTC move reminds me a lot of what we did in January. It looks a little bit different, but technically it's doing the same, where it swept the highs similar to what it did here in January, and then it accepted back inside the range. So if we don't show any strength, it's very likely we trade back to this 110K level, especially if the weekly backfill doesn't hold. So that's a bit where I'm at with BTC. All the weak alts we discussed yesterday on stream with HBJ are still being weak. I feel like Sol most notably. And also Sol, to me, when I was looking at it 10 minutes ago, it reminds me a lot of the January top, but in a smaller manner, right? So definitely some caution here, once again, on alts. I think you still want to be focusing on ETH hype, ENA Link for like longs on stuff potentially. So keep that in mind. I'm good, bro. Thank you. How are you? Magic meme line. Yeah, it's sort of to go back to BTC. For me, I was waiting for this 116 sweep because like this is basically a flat candle here. So that's what I want to wait for. And if that sweeps, then I'll look to long some stuff. Not too bothered to long anything just yet. Can you check Pengu for me? Yeah, we'll go over Pengu in a sec. I also want to discuss Useless because Useless gave a very nice move early this morning here. And it sold off like 10% in like 30 minutes or whatever. And then we had the Binance listing. It took out all these stops and then it accepted back below. So if Useless doesn't hold 27, which is this very, very big support where we've traded at for quite a bit of time, then it could pull, I think, personally, a Zerebro. For people that remember, when Zerebro got listed on Binance, it basically just went down only. Well, forever. So definitely want to watch out for if that 27 cents region doesn't hold. And also this tree drive, sort of a tree drive on the hourly. Not the cleanest, but it's a tree drive. Add some extra confluence to that. It's good reset here on the 50 RSI. Get some relief into the weekend. That'll be up to BTC. Well, let's see. What happens when you buy the dip of the dip? You can run out of money. Try shorting weak alts and longing strong alts so that you can go delta neutral somewhat. Like we made a whole list yesterday with HBJ with strong alts, titled longs, weak alts, titled shorts. Well, BTC isn't an alt, but I added it in the list anyways to keep an eye on what the price is while I'm looking at this list. Because the weak alts will probably continue being weak. Mainly, you can see mainly memes in here, and that's due to the fact I think memes are close to, like, how do you say it? Close to being at the end of their cycle, whatever. That's also why we've seen a lot more DeFi perform quite well. Hello, Living. How you doing, bro? So yeah, that's pretty much my thoughts here on most stuff. Also posted yesterday in my channel that I haven't really been feeling risk on ever since the Sol trade played out. Because I haven't really had conviction in anything on the long side since that happened, because I most of you know I barely trade ETH and ETH related stuff. So for me, it's super hard to get conviction in that, even if I know they will outperform. So I'm much more looking at preserving the capital I made the past 3 years than I am in making more on the long side with it. I'd much rather look for a very, very good short right now as we enter like these final stages of the bull, because alts have been super rotational as it is. So you can get away with shorts on alts in between these windows of outperformance. I'll probably remain pretty risk off with my overall portfolio until late 2026. That means I might miss out on a 30% move on ETH and a 10-15% move on BTC, but that's absolutely fine for me. Think we get a rate cut? Yeah, probably. I mean, the rate cut is probably going to be a good point to sell into, I think. It's not going to be like alt season, like everyone's saying. Which may be contrarian, but yeah. What do we have for Pengu? I mean, Pengu is kind of in this demand, so it's a pretty. I mean, a lot of stuff is actually on support here, while BTC is filling the CME gap, which is good. Which means we could get a bounce, but we need a lot of work to undo the bad structures we formed on alts the past, let's say, 3 days. For Pengu, it's been 2-3 weeks. Like for Pengu, you kind of want to be bullish on it. You kind of want this downtrend to break, right? You see how it's stuck underneath, and every time it gets close to tapping it, it rejects. That's also what it did yesterday. And now it just sold back off into support. So it could bounce here. If it starts closing below 30, it can drop 20% easily, and that's where then your next support would be. But yeah, ideally stuff starts bouncing here. What do you think about Doge and Sui? I don't like Doge overall. Out of like the most, I think the only alts I like for longs are these. Like Doge has been super sluggish. Um, BTC pair on it does look good, but it really needs to get above 26 because here it's in the middle of nowhere. You could argue it's at mid range, but as you can see here, it didn't really do much while BTC broke all time high. Like, let's clean this up, right? We had our uptrend in July, broke down, formed fresh supply on the daily. BTC tapped all time high. Doge didn't even get close to when BTC was back at all time higher. So that already tells you, okay, it's a lot weaker than BTC. And when it did, it just deviated and now it's back below. And also it's below our MA, didn't manage to get back above. So it doesn't look very interesting. As you can see here, this is in general a pretty difficult spot. On top of this being big resistance. When risk on? I think June to July was risk on. The past 2 weeks have been risk on for ETH and ETH related stuff. Like I saw some post yesterday about people mocking Dgenping for saying like risk off in August because August was the best month yet. Well, realistically speaking, it hasn't been the best month yet, right? It's been the best month yet for ETH. But for anything else from July is still hasn't broken new highs. Only ETH related stuff. BTC needs to break out to new highs convincingly in order for us to go risk on. Because the longer we chop, the more alts suffer. I think you've noticed that as well. FSH. I don't know how to pronounce your name. How do you pronounce your name? I'm not gonna say the last 3 words of your alias right now. But yeah, I agree with Living. We need to BTC to be back in price discovery. So there is no alt season. I mean, I think alt season is just a meme for people to hold on to some belief. We've had plenty of alts run 10x. It's just not that rising tide lifts all boats, right? Zora ran 15x from July till August. What else? MPK or SPK? What was it? Like this ran 5x in 3 days. E did 3x. Although that wasn't an easy journey, right? Do you believe we could get another alt relief this weekend like last weekend? I mean, yeah, possibly. We've had good weekends for alts now, for quite a few weekends in a row. But maybe this time is different. But we'll have to see. For ETH, for those of you asking, don't know if it was the same person asking what about ETH 2 times, but 4.2k is a very good level to bid. I feel like also here in general, If these wicks hold, that would also be a nice bottom on it. Although it would be a horrible looking one, but bottoms don't look pretty usually. But 4.2k is my area where I wanna bid. Because I do not like how these dailies look. So I'm gonna wait and see. And then maybe we get something like this. You get a second drive into September. And that's where you then want to become really cautious. Like, yeah, 4.2k or a flip of 4.6 again, because as you can see here on the H4, that's where we sort of print that bearish checkmate before going down. I believe Pat shorted it. Good short, to be honest. Like, this is a good place to TP, right? Because stuff can reverse here. Once again, we're moving into support levels here. Trump and who? Trump and Vlad? You mean Putin? I mean, Ukraine isn't there. So they're not gonna have a peace treaty or whatever, a resolution of the war once again. He's just pretending as if he's doing stuff while he's not. Still positive for crypto? I mean, yeah, sure. Okay, what's BTC doing? Did we sweep? Let's see how this 2 hourly candle closes. Might get a long in on BTC if it's good. Yeah, any resolution of the war is good, but the issue is that it's just like this constant back and forth of Trump and Putin are having a meeting while nothing is happening, unfortunately. And it's just, I mean, it's quite frustrating. I say that as someone very close to the whole conflict. Think USA has the right to call out a truce? Do they? If BTC can close the 2 hourly above 118, maybe we can get long. What's Link doing? Jesus. Not reacting. Ina not reacting. It's trying. I mean, it's if BTC takes the lead here again. Let's say BTC takes the lead here, and we move back to 120k, and alts don't react to it at all. That would be our best case scenario, because that would mean that it's, well, once again BTC led, which is great. If you watch Trader May's last video, no. Did I miss any questions? Sui. I still want Sui to go to 460 for a short, Dave. I remember us looking at that earlier last month. Would be a shame if we don't get it. Like a move into 460, which is also this, well, massive supply, would be a very high conviction short on my end. I keep opening up new RSIs. Did we print any here? Yeah. All in. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, another very high conviction short I'm looking at is well, I've spoke about this quite a lot. Let me clean this up. Is Sol into 220. We again went to 210 and it just rejected the MA on the monthly perfectly. Not sure why I didn't take it. Pretty dumb on my behalf. Hmm. Was that late? Was that 5 minute push shorts closing? Talks about two scenarios where BTC runs again. Wait, let me read that and collect my thoughts. Yeah, I mean, both scenarios make sense. Um, to extend the cycle and the amount of alts it can run, ideally you want BTC to break out higher instead of ETH, because if ETH breaks out, that tells you that money is moving further down the risk curve, which is good for alts, right? But it also tells you that the door is getting closer every day that BTC doesn't catch up to ETH, because you go further and further and further and further down the risk curve until the stretcher snaps, and when the stretcher snaps, liquidations happen. What's up, Am? How you doing, mate? So that's a bit my thoughts on it, A13. Like for me, I would love BTC to break higher instead of ETH, because that's just overall healthier for the market. That second chart is some military grade hopium, isn't it? But yeah, the top does look eerily similar to 2021 right now. That November 2024 one is also nice though, because that wick which you see a little bit further to the right. Let me pull up the chart so you guys can follow. That wick which you see, that wick which you see here, that would be a very, very good bottom, right? Let's say we just had our death candle this week. We have a week of chop next week where basically nothing happens. Alt probably slow bleed. And then last week of August, you get like that wick down. Early September, you chop, and then into FOMC, you get that next candle upwards. And then you'll have to see where you go, right? If we're going to continue here, or if it's going to do one final candle and then top out. That would be good. That would be something that actually, like, I can see this happen. But then obviously you're like, probably this is 10-year cycle top, time wise or whatever. And then, well, this one, if we just stopped, don't think we have, but who knows? Then it's gonna be painful. Can see August giving one more push up. Yeah. Okay, now let's look at what happened here when we pushed up. Was it shorts? Closing? Yes, sort of. Yeah, if ETH tops like this, a lot of people are going to be angry. I mean, Sol kind of did something similar, right? In November. Well, it did get above all-time high, but it's a less liquid asset, so keep that in mind. And then it also moved down for a couple of weeks, and then you got your second and final leg. That's what I could see happening with ETH here, where like it just edged all-time high. Lots of people are getting fucked for a week or two, and then it moves up for its second leg into some, I don't know, mega bullish news. Bond breaking down. What do you think about Link? Link is a very nice bid here. I feel like if BTC holds 116, 115, like 21, I'm gonna place an alert before I forget. This zone on Link is a very nice area for us to hold. And then get a move to 29. That would be good. Do you think by BTC should go to 116 despite Trump and Putin meeting? I think the meeting is just smoke and mirrors. I would just focus on what's in front of you here. Ada's still green on the day. Let's look at Ada as well, yeah. Doesn't this look like it complacency shoulder to you guys? Or it just does this? Well, not as aggressive, but this does look like a complacency shoulder, if I'm being honest. War of the Dinos the past 7 months. Like since we topped in January, it's only been like dinos that performed well. Of course, the occasional alt did well, but it's crazy how much money has flown into XRP, XMR. What else do we have? ADA, HBAR. Would hate to have to trade this piece of shit ADA. Yeah, I agree. I would short it though, but look how slow it moves. Can't be bothered. I'm accepting apologies from the XRP doubters. Did you close your position, Dave? I apologize. I thought Doge would pull an XRP though. Like, how do I rephrase that? I thought Doge would be the one that would move as aggressive and erratic as XRP did, because it also had like loads of bag holders and whatever. Doge got cocked when Elon left the narrative. Yeah, that's fair. That's true, actually. That's true. Are we moving up a bit? Yeah, I want to see how this H2 closes, and then maybe we can get long. Yeah, Bong and Pengu. And then the only new meme that launched was useless, right? Oh, SPX did alright as well, to be fair. SPX is actually forming a bull diff here. Have a hard time longing this though. A lot of people got fucked last time. They're more hesitant with Doge. Yeah, that, and also there's just so much supply overhead. Like to look back at this chart. Like this kind of bear diff. Let's say this moves up again. You really do want to be shorting that. What's with at? Jesus. Jesus fucking Christ. No whiff on the sphere, yeah? To be honest, I got cooked on this. Here on this move or whatever it was in January. I think a lot of people did. Gonna become a dog without the head. Yeah. That's what started the whole meme coin mania, right? Good times, good times. My port was mainly Bong and Whiv at one point. Yeah, I remember being heavily in Bong, like right before. Wait, not even here. That was great, man. Where are we? I think it was like here. I don't know where I entered exactly. But I remember looking at my Bong at one point and being like, oh, it's like 25% of my portfolio right now. Maybe I should take some profit. Crazy. See you, Living. Have a good weekend, bro. Yeah, Bonk was a great trade. I mean, it was also right in your face. Every year that passes, it's hard to make money on memes. Yeah, you also see it on chain. Whereas usually stuff would run to 50 mil by ease, now we just top at 50 mil and it's over. Like useless only went to 400, right? And that was it. Maybe it still goes higher, but I have my doubts. And also all the other memes that are launching now, like they go to what 10 mil. There's been like you had Aura that went to 170 because they cornered the supply, and then you had memes which went to 50 or something. Meme coin. What's it at? Wait, not that one. It's probably dead now, yeah? 6 mil. and it ran to 50 or something. Yeah, 50. Like this would have been a billion in 2024, early 2024. Well, Elon also pumped one. This one. Did all right. And then it died. Want to see what BTC does. Spot down only. Not great. You can tell we're at the end of the bull market. Yeah, that's how I feel as well. But yeah, this last leg is probably just going to be giga violent. I mean, you saw it on ETH. Like if we zoom out a bit, this is pretty nuts for a almost $500 billion asset. Like it's doing to the upside what it did to the downside every time. This was the merge, wasn't it? Do you see any difference? Or are they the same? To me, they're the same. They're exactly the same. It's actually crazy. April top, January top, um, January top, April top. Cool off, very aggressive cool off into demand. Move up for the complacency shoulder. Get rejected again. Sol doesn't give me confidence. No, it moves. It moves at the end of every single rotation. It's the new ETH. I've been saying it for a while now that whenever Sol starts moving strong, it's probably a good time to book some profits on your alt longs. It's like here, like it traded like shit, right? It traded like shit, traded like shit. It starts moving up for 2 days, and we top. And you could also see it on perps. Like it's the canary in the coal mine right now, which is good, right? It's a good signal. You want to be able to use that. Like look at this OI increase in those 2 days. Like a 20% OI increase. So will you not buy Sol on these dips? No, I don't think so. I think you want to buy ETH and ETH related stuff because it's strong. Sol and memes are weak. Like I think you really just use this list. Maybe the list changes over time, but you focus on the weak shit to short and you focus on the strong shit to long. Yeah, exactly. And I think what we can also get on Sol now, once the ETF gets approved, is where you get your complacency bounds on it. And I think that's where you then short it more. INJ. At least you're going to 135. Yeah, that always also. Whenever that looks remotely good, we're fucking done. What's INJ doing nowadays? I mean, it rejected a pretty big res. This is also like one of those coins that just doesn't really do much ever since March 24. I think 12 is a good level. This really doesn't give me any confidence to long it nor short it. This was good. You need to buy it spot. Why do you need to buy it? Don't you think there's more interesting coins out there? Do you need to buy it because you think it will go back to $50? Yeah, it's not going back to 50. I'll bet on that. I think you're better off just buying ETH for a 30% move. $0.50. Ah, I see. Yeah, 50 cents probably. We have Plasma launching soon, I believe. Public token, la la la. I believe they're rumored to launch in September. That might be a good short-term play before the bear market starts, and then you rebuy it in the bear market as well, I think. Stablecoin killer apps. In September, allegedly, I'm not too sure on it. Are you gonna bid Monad? I don't know, actually. I have one. I did one seed round of like one Monad project. So maybe I'll just use that as my Monad exposure and hope it does well. Because the vesting on it isn't too bad. But I'm not sure if I'm gonna bid it. Maybe, yeah. But Monad fucked themselves as well. Like they delayed launch so long that everyone's just like bored of it now. And also, spoke about this briefly in my longer post yesterday or day before, that the L1 premium is. Let's look at CoinGecko to give you an example. Is slowly like disappearing. There is no L1 premium anymore, right? In 2021, you had Sol doing well, you had Avex doing well, you had Luna doing well. Like all of them went to like multi billions. Whereas this cycle, you had Hyperliquid doing it at 20x, which is it's cool, right? That's good, or 15x from TGE, but it's nowhere near what we saw last cycle. And then you had Sol doing well, good as well, of course, and then Sui. But all the other L1s that launched, they got obliterated. Like Initia, um, let me see. There's no narrative other than West shilling it. Yeah, you're right, B. This cycle sucks. Just listed on Binance. Yeah, Eustace got listed on Binance today. Where is the L1s? I need Useless to pull a zero, bro. To zero. Oh yeah, we also had Near last cycle. That did okay. Celestia also did okay for a short period. But like the issue is that none of them have been like sustained in any manner. I guess that can be said for every single narrative this cycle though, even memes. Yeah, Sui was also great actually. I don't know anyone that caught it from like the bottom to the top either. Like everyone was just like scalping Sui whenever it like started breaking out and shit. I'm swearing a lot today. What's going on? We also had Harmony. True. INJ we also had, by the way, which basically went from like $1.50 to $50 in like what 1 year and a half ish. I'll check QF in a sec. Man, Sui and actually INJ and Sui were great trades, but you just holding it hasn't been as rewarding if you compare it to last cycle. Oh, we also had Matic last cycle. Poly. They fucking name change as well. Where is it? It's not even on the first page anymore. Surely not. What's it called again? It was called Poly something, no? Matic rebrand. POL. It's the ticker now. It's not on the first page. I find it hard to believe. Or they don't call it an L1 anymore. Yeah, it's probably just not an L1 anymore. Because they rebranded 200 times. X-Matic. Oh, you're right. Sorry, I'm stupid. Probably the only L2 that actually performed well now. Like the only L2 that actually went from zero to something. Because like Arbitrum didn't do anything, Optimism didn't do anything, Starknet basically got obliterated as soon as they launched. Well, not maybe for a short-term pump. Yeah, I think maybe you can trade it like Bera, like you're saying, Nico. I think that's the way to go about it. I mean, with any new launch, actually. Rebranding was its final death. Yeah. Which QF do you mean? Don't remember who asked. It's on deck screener, I suppose. QF. This one? Quantum fusion. Looks alright. Looks a little bit like distribution. Uh, kind of want 170 to hold, I would say. Oh wait, there's more price action. Let's redraw our magic lines. Yeah, still 170. 170 is your big one, otherwise it repeats this. Links swept the lows. Yeah, BTC is also bouncing a little bit. Maybe I'll try a small long on Link. Let's look at Link. It's good we backfilled most of the wicks, to be honest. I think ETH can also be good long if it closes above this 4480 level. And if you want to wait for a deeper flush, 4.2 is still the level I'm looking at. Let's see how we close the next few hours. Then we could fee reverse. I would like BTC to just lead, to be honest. But I think dominance is bouncing now. By the way, alts are trading. Yeah, it's bouncing. Dominance bounced to 61 and then maybe we'll get some relief after it. USDT also bouncing though. That's not great. I think I'm gonna be greedy and wait for 115. While I wait for useless to go to 0. Arrow also gave a very nice bounce. It's a shame we didn't get 125 yesterday evening. Also, maybe slightly too greedy on my end, to be fair. Any final short requests before we head into the weekend? Zora, Ina, Hype. I didn't buy TRWA. I mainly buy stuff on Sol. We already covered Sol, Mark. You can rewatch the VOD if you want. Yeah, Texas long scalp on BTC looks good. If you want a long here. I want 115. I'll do Zora and Ina and then we can wrap it up. And Hype I'll also do. I think for Zora you just want to play it logical here, and if it forms somewhat of a base, then you can long it potentially for a final move into the diagonal. But the RSI doesn't look great, but then again here also, like you want to see it form somewhat of a base like it did here, and then maybe it can leg up again, and then you TP like what, 12-3 or whatever, and then lower. Zora. Ina. That looks a bit rough. Maybe 64, unless we bounce here. Like, let's delete this. Like 64, unless 68 holds. I think 64 is a good level. High time frame. And then high. That's not my high charts here. I was looking to long it yesterday, but I didn't in the end. Gave an okay bounce. Hype kind of made a tree drive today. Like, it's once again gonna be 42, needs to be the fucking Berlin Wall and hold. Because otherwise this just looks like an all-time high sweep. Well, it didn't really sweep, right? No, it didn't. It didn't sweep. Just about missed. Yeah, 42 makes sense. And as long as this diagonal holds, you're good. Wow, what am I doing? Yeah, 42 looks good. Ugly looking daily though, but it is what it is. All dailies look ugly right now. So yeah, 42 hype, 64 Ina. Zora needs to form a base. That's it. I'll do Sol as well, anyways. Fuck it. Like Sol, I had 180 the start of the week. Think that still stands. 180, 175. 175 would be. I would be comfortable buying down here with like a 10% stop. But it's just gonna move super weak, so I'm not very interested in it. So yeah, that's it. To summarize the stream, look for weak alts to short in the next 1.5 month, and strong alts to long. Strong alts are mostly the ETH betas right now. Weak alts are mostly the Solana ecosystem coins and memes. So focus on those. Wait for stuff to form a base. Maybe over the weekend we form a base on most things, and take profit if you're up. That's it. Thanks for joining, guys. Have a good weekend. Enjoy the sun. Touch grass, and I'll see you all on Monday. Have a good weekend, and yeah, take care. Bye bye.